from different parts of our country, together with our neighbors and friends from far and near, to think together, to share, and to pray together. I want to congratulate Parliament for making it certain that we will not be looking for a date going into the future. It's now confirmed that it is the last Thursday of May every year. So all of us will put it in our calendar. I think it is partly informed by the fact that this prayer breakfast has to be shifted from last week, and I think it happened again before. So we will all diarize the same way we have elections every Tuesday of the fifth year, or every Tuesday, the first Tuesday of August, or is it? Second Tuesday of August, we will now know when our prayer breakfast will be. It is very interesting that the theme of this prayer breakfast is reconciliation. I remember the last prayer breakfast here was again around the same. I remember in that prayer breakfast asking for forgiveness from my friend, the former president. And it is interesting that today we are again discussing in our first prayer breakfast the subject of forgiveness and reconciliation. Let me say that I am truly grateful to God that in this, our first prayer breakfast, we have come together as a nation. And it is perfectly in order for us to celebrate where we are today as a country. Let me first congratulate all elected leaders who are here on this first prayer breakfast. Congratulations to all of you who have been given the opportunity to serve the people of Kenya. All of us, from our MCAs to our members of parliament, to our governors, and all of us in between. We want to thank God for the opportunity to serve the people of Kenya, and I want to congratulate you and to tell you that I am looking forward to working with each and every one of you, working together across political lines on matters that are important to the people of Kenya. And in that working together, it is not necessary that we will always agree, but it is important that we work together towards the betterment of our country. I am reminded, and I want to thank God for the last general election. The last general election were in a category of their own. I mean, it was a turning point from where I sit in the politics of Kenya. And I have 4 reasons why I think it was a turning point. Number one, it is the election where the 2 national formations had actually a national face on either side. The ethnic configuration that always informed our politics was not there. We had both sides presenting a national face in their formation. Number 2, we had the most evident issue-based election. The election was about issues. There are issues that we differed. Our brothers on the other side, for example, said borrowing money was good because we were using other people's money to run our development, which made some sense. We argued on our side that we needed to slow down on borrowing because borrowing could lead us to a different place. But we also had occasion when both formations agreed, like, for example, on housing. So it was issue-based. We had an issue-based election. It is also correct that we had a closely contested election. Again, because it only happens in Kenya that in our last election, the opposition leader became the government candidate. And the sitting president of the government became the opposition candidate. And as things should be, the opposition candidate, who was the then sitting deputy president, won the election, and the sitting president then handed over power to his deputy and went ahead to become the leader of the opposition party. That only happens in Kenya, I think. So it was quite amazing. The fourth characteristic of our last election, from where I sit, is that with all that, we ended up with a peaceful election. And we thank God for a peaceful election and a peaceful country. And that is why this morning, I join you with rejoicing, thanksgiving, faithful supplication, and prayer in my heart. I praise the Almighty God of all creation, whose supremacy we, the people of Kenya, solemnly and humbly acknowledge, even at the moment of constituting our sovereign republic, and to whom we submit our aspirations in prayer every time we sing our national anthem. Kenya has emerged triumphant and sovereign out of the sorrowful mist of painful history because those who came before us endured harrowing sacrifice with heroic determination and faith in God and in our Creator. The history of Kenya, therefore, is an ample chronicle of consistent struggle, unshakable determination, unity, and devout prayer. Prayer is not just an exemplary component of our heritage and a magnificent tradition. Prayer anchors our aspirations and devotion to God. The most important instruments and symbols of our republic constantly remind us to be reconciled with the Almighty God, our Creator. I thank the conveners of this National Prayer Breakfast, our good members of Parliament, for bringing us together as leaders to rally the nation in its splendid diversity of creed and faiths, to unite in submission to God, and to take our dearest wishes, deepest needs, and foremost desires before the majestic throne of our benevolent Creator. We kneel before God, praying for justice, our shield and defender, so that our nation can stand before any difficulty, any adversity, threat, or trial. There is no better time for us to pray as a nation than now. We have an opportunity to give thanks for the far we have come as a country Amid global turmoil arising from pandemic, geopolitical crisis, economic shocks, as well as regional conflict, harrowing drought, a plague of locusts, and a closely contested election. Globally, nations are groaning under high cost of living, intensified by soaring debt, food scarcity, unemployment, and of course, struggling economies. We are giving our best in the struggle to overcome these immense challenges. Firstly, our robust endeavors to implement a radical socio-economic transformation is intended to provide sustainable solutions to our cost of living, food security, scarcity, unemployment, and poverty challenges. Secondly, we have historically and even now stand ready to lend our hand to our neighbors and regional brothers and sisters experiencing conflict and instability, and take a stand for peace, security, and development in not just our neighborhood, but across the globe. Further, we join the global community in combating existential threats to humanity in the form of conflict, terrorism, poverty exclusion, and of course the triple planetary crisis of pollution, loss of diversity, and climate change. In all this and other endeavors, we must also invoke our collective faith as a nation and congregate before the throne of mercy and seat of grace in order that our effort may be blessed with success and that our unity, cohesion, and solidarity be elevated to a divine communion, solemn fellowship, and sacred fraternity of all our people. Colossians 3:13 reminds us to bear with each other and to forgive one another. On this day of prayer, I call your attention to the important need for a shared understanding of all the causes we hold dear and are willing to defend. Without this understanding, we end up fighting each other instead of fighting for our causes. Without this understanding, we end up divided when we should be united. I want to remind all of us leaders about the expectations that the people of Kenya have, that we love our country dearly and will do our part individually and collectively to make Kenya work and succeed in promoting the well-being, the dignity, and the liberty of all our people. We are expected to be united by the vision of a strong, secure, prosperous Kenya, where our people live in prosperity, freedom, and happiness. These are proper and legitimate expectations. I will go further and propose that although our ideas concerning the means, strategies, and policies of achieving this vision may differ, we must remain cognizant of a line no one should ever cross, of wishing that this nation fails or that her people suffer, just to vindicate our politics. Neither can we pursue an agenda of sabotage for political advantage. Democracy is a defined political gift which enables us to compete vigorously, as we always do, but also empowers us to reconcile our aspirations and recognize the fundamental unity of our truest aspirations in a single vision for a free, strong, prosperous, united, and secure nation. This vision cannot admit the weaponization of political differences to punish the vulnerable, prejudice the innocent, injure the hardworking, and afflict the struggling. Pursuit of political aspiration must also enhance justice, not undermine it, expand freedom, not constrict it, and must increase democracy, freedom, and security, and not promote autocracy, tyranny, impunity, destruction, or fear. Isaiah 1:18 reminds us to reason together. Today, we are in the midst of a robust national conversation about public policies. Our democratic culture has endowed us with a rare opportunity to reason together and reconcile with our current realities. We all agree, seated here, members of parliament from all sides, leaders from all sides, that we have 5 million of our young people out of school without jobs. 800,000 young people join them in the labor market every year. I was looking at the budget last night. 628 billion will be spent in the education of our children in this year's budget, from primary school all the way to our universities. Yet, it is important for us to figure out how this investment will yield results for us as a nation. We all agree that our manufacturing, which we anticipated would go from 9% to 15%, has instead gone backwards to 7%. And we need to put policy interventions like the ones of promoting our manufacturing endeavors, making sure that we provide opportunities and interventions to promote manufacturing. We are all agreed that our exports as a percentage of GDP have come down from 28% to 10%. We need to do something about it. We need to promote, we need policy interventions that will encourage our exports. We all agree that 7 million Kenyans today live in informal settlements, suffer the indignity of living in settlements that do not have adequate water, do not have adequate sanitation. They are our brothers and sisters. We all agree that our agricultural land is threatened by subdivision, and food insecurity is a reality. That is why we have a conversation about the high cost of living. We need to do something about it. We all agree that borrowing is not the way out of our current situation, that our debt has increased from about 4 trillion to 9 trillion in 5-6 short years. We must reconcile ourselves to that truth. So, as we participate in this important debate on the finance bill, let us ask God to open our eyes and enable us clearly see real choices that we have to make. And I want to remind you the words of Daniel 11:32 that say, even in the context where we are, Daniel reminds us that, but those who know their God, they will be strong and they will do great exploits. Living within our means requires us to work with what we have. You remember Moses. He was confronted with a situation. God asked him, what do you have in your hand? And you know what he had in his hand. You also remember Jesus asked his disciples when they were confronted with a situation of feeding 5,000 people. Jesus asked the young man and the lady, what do you have in your hand? We are at the threshold of great transformation and in a moment which demands singular courage. Our commitment is under test. Only bold decisions will enable us to make the best of this opportunity to unlock the possibilities of the Kenya we all want for ourselves and for our children. It is time to be bold and brave. Delay tactics and sabotage are written in the shaky handwriting of cowards. Excuses are the nails used to construct let us also be reconciled to our collective aspirations in order for us to live up to the true promise of this moment and our common destiny. I listened to my brother Michael Hastings very carefully, and he spoke to our hearts. And let me say, if you don't remember anything he said, if you don't remember anything that I have said, if you don't remember anything that was said by anybody, please, just remember his words. He said, if you feel pain, you are alive. But if you feel the pain of others, you are a human being. I mean, if there is one thing that he has told us that is profound in what I heard him speak, if we all feel the pain of what it is that we have to do, then we are alive. But if we feel the pain of others, then we are human beings. I want us to ask ourselves, if we feel the pain of the 3%, then it's because we are alive. But if we feel the pain of the millions of young people who are looking for a job, if we feel the pain of the 7 million Kenyans who live in indignity in slums, then we are human beings. Say one more thing, because I don't want to preach. Let me say just one more thing. Lord Michael Hastings also told us about this occasion of what was called the amazing shot by this great photographer, Kelvin Carter, of this person, this child, confronted by a vulture. It was a moment. But he walked away. And he never remained the same. You heard that he committed suicide. As leaders, we know, we witness every day millions of our young people confronting us in our markets, in villages, in our streets. We all travel the 1,411 informal settlements, slums in Kenya. We see those people. Let us not do what Kevin Carter did. Let us not take photographs of them. Let us not take selfies of them and walk away. Let us do something about their situation. Ladies and gentlemen, I am truly, truly happy to be here this morning. We look forward to this coming together of all of us leaders going into the future. And I wish our great leaders in Parliament the very best as they continue to put us together in this prayer breakfast. God bless you.